So far in research methodology, we discussed about what is research, types of research, objectives of research, characteristics of research, and what is basic and applied research. So now we are going to look at the other types of research in a nutshell. So I'm not going to give a detailed explanation about all this research, but I'm going to tell you what are the other types of research that exist actually. So let's move on. The first one is applied research. We have discussed about this already. Applied research, nothing but it refers to scientific study that seeks to solve practical problem. It aims to solve practical problem, whereas in the basic research is just gathering knowledge for knowledge sake. It is done based on the curiosity of the researcher. So I have discussed about these two researchers in detail in the previous class. So I am not going to discuss these two again in this class. So I will move on to the next type of research. Next is correlation research. The word correlation itself indicates that there is a relationship between two things. So things in the sense here it is called as variables. So if you see this example, listening to music lowers blood pressure levels. So you see there are two variables. One is listening to music. Second is blood pressure level. So how listening to music lowers the blood pressure. So you are relating these two. So that is called as correlated research. It refers to the systematic investigation of relationship among two or more variables. It will be minimum two or more than two variables. So that is the relationship between. So that is the relationship between two or more variables which is being analyzed is called as correlation research. So descriptive research. Descriptive research is nothing but it describes the things. It describes the characteristics of an individual or a group. Okay. So let's see this descriptive research with a specific example. See, in short, it deals with everything that can be counted and studied. For example, if you take, let me compare a group of students. Okay, let me compare a group of students who are studying higher secondary or high school. Let it be 12th standard. So I am comparing them based on their subject knowledge on English and mathematics. So based on their results on English and mathematics, I can come to a description that those who have scored more marks in English than mathematics can be able to study well in art stream. So those who scored more marks in mathematics and less marks in English can do well in STEM. STEM is engineering. Okay, science, technology, and engineering, medicine. That is STEM. So in this science stream. So depending upon the characteristics of the individual, you can get an idea of what they are capable of. Similarly, you see scientific classification where living things may be classified into kingdom, plants, or kingdom, living things, plants, animals, and human beings. All are living things, right? They can be classified according to their nature. So all these classifications are made as a result of descriptive research. So they are describing what they are. We are a classification of living being, but we come under the description of human being. We are a classification of living thing. We come under human being. Similarly, dogs are a classification of living thing. They come under animal kingdom. Similarly, based on the description, based on their nature of description, when you are describing the nature of their description, when you are conducting a research on those natures, it is called as descriptive research. Hope you understand this. So next is experimental. As you know, the word experimental involves you are experimenting something, you are trying to find out something new based on certain parameters. It is an objective, systematic, controlled investigation for a purpose of predicting and controlling phenomena. Okay, let me say this in a simple term. You are going to experiment on the effect of library in improving academic performance. Okay, effect of library usage in improving academic performance. So you are taking let me say example of 20 students. So you are making 10 students daily come to the library, use the resources and study and see how they perform well in the exam. And you are on another 10 students, they are not coming to the library. You are not making them come to the library. They have to study on their own. Okay. So you are comparing them. So one group is controlled group, one group is experimental group. So you are comparing the results of both the groups and conducting an experiment, right? So this kind of research is called as experimental research, where you have a set of population, and your set of population or sample, you are dividing them based on certain parameters and certain phenomena, certain variables, and then you are controlling the group and see how the effect of that phenomena plays a whether affects or improves the performance of the group. This, when you are experimenting, when you are doing an experimenting based on two groups, so that is called as experimental research. So this is an example, evaluation of teaching methods and employee skill evaluation. So whenever you join join a software company or something, they will give you orientation, right? They will give you training. First, they won't directly put you in the position. They will give you training. So you have to pass the training, then only you will be posted in a department. So in the training, they will teach you the working functions of the organization and everything with the skills they feel it is important for working in the organization. So after they teach, the training will go for 1 or 2 months depending upon the nature of the organization. So in the training, they will test. In the training, you will have continuous evaluation, continuous assessment. They will test periodically. They will test on every. They will give provide assessment on every reviews, right? See how you are performing it. So this is one kind of experiment. So how you are coping up with the training, whether you are improving or not. So based on these parameters, they will decide who we have to take into the organization, whom we have to fire, whom we have to throw out of the organization. So depending upon these parameters, they will do. So it can be conducted in all scopes of discipline. Mostly it is conducted in science, but it can be done in other disciplines too. Exploratory. The name itself implies that it explores the possibilities. It is conducted for a problem that has not been clearly defined. Okay, it helps to determine the best research design, data collection, and selection of subject. See, here the problem is not clearly defined. For example, let's say WhatsApp. Let's say we are using WhatsApp, right? WhatsApp installs a new feature. Okay, they don't know whether it will reach out to the audience or whether the audience will like that new feature or not. What they will do is they will first send a beta version. I don't know whether you have heard a beta version or not. In many of the apps, when you download it in the Play Store or something, you can see beta version is available. Beta version means they are testing the product. Okay, they are testing based on the responses of the test, based on the responses of the users who are using the beta version. If it is positive, the final version will come out. If it is negative, with certain modifications, the final version is come out. So exploratory is exploring the best possibilities based on certain parameters, right? See, for example, I have given a specific example. An interview with an employee can give you insight to find out the degree of job satisfaction. So when you want to know the job satisfaction of an employee, whether he is happy with this job. So if you do an interview, you will get an exploratory idea about whether he is satisfied or not, and what are the problems he is facing. So similarly, this is primary research method. First, what I said is primary research method. So interview, observation, focus group, all primary research method. Secondary research method is already the data is available. You are just taking the data, exploring the data. Primary is original data, where you go and search for the data. Let me give a simple example of primary data and secondary data in terms of library. I am asking you to find the number of library science books in Central University of Punjab library. So what Abhilash does is he goes to the library and asks for the library science section in the library and goes there and counts each book one by one. Okay, he gets the record 1000 or something. So he comes to me and tells, sir, there are 1000 books related to library science in our library. He is saying, okay. So what Ritesh does is, he is not going to the library. He is just searching the WOPAC. Okay. He is just searching the OPAC and typing library science books, and he is getting the list and downloading it in an Excel sheet. See, the same work you are doing in two different ways. The original way, the original one is what Abhilash did is he directly went to the library and counted the book one by one. So that kind of data collection is called as primary data. What Ritesh done is somebody has counted and they have uploaded it in the library software. He is just using the library software to download the list of books. So that is secondary research method, like secondary data collection. Okay, I hope you understand the difference. So here interview is primary research because you are directly going to the person and asking questions related to its opinion or beliefs or whatever it may be. So that is primary. See the example, second example, a researcher needs to find out what percentage of people prefer a specific brand phone. He just, so for example, if he wants to buy a phone, he wants to see what percentage, which brand of phone is highly used by most of the people. So he searches in the online, in the Google and other e-commerce sites, and he finds out this company is using more phone. See, the data is already available in the Google. He is just searching it to find the percentage. So that is secondary method of data collection. I hope you understand. So this is an example of exploratory research. So next is grounded theory. Grounded theory is a research approach which is designed to solve problems that exist in a social environment and how the persons handle them. It finally, after finding the problem that exists in a social environment, it helps to formulate a theory. It helps to formulate a theory or proposition based on the findings. Okay, it has 4 stages: coding, concepts, categories and theory. So let me tell this with a specific example. See this example. Gloria examined the pedagogical practice of 8 elementary school teachers in a small town in North Carolina. Okay, she examined the pedagogical practice of 8 elementary schools, okay, in a town in North Carolina. So what happens is, after examining the pedagogical practice, she found out the result. She found out certain findings, and the findings may be used to develop a theory of culturally relevant pedagogy based on the 8 schools in the town. The pedagogical practice based on the findings, that findings will help to formulate a new theory on how pedagogy should be implemented for elementary schools. So I hope you understand the perspective of grounded theory. The findings will help to formulate a theory for that particular social environment. Okay. Now we are coming to the historical research. So historical research is involving analysis of events that occurred in the recent past. History means whatever which has happened in the past, that we refer to as history, right? So it occurs to the analysis of events that occurred in the past. So what do you say? Origin of libraries in India. Development of library education in India. So you are going back when the library science was started in India, like that. So comparison of history of library science, libraries in India and Europe, like that. You are going back. Already the facts is available, but you are going back to the recent past or remote past, depending upon your research question. Okay. So the application of historical research helps to show patterns that occurred in the past over time, and which can help us to see where we came from and what kind of solution we have used in the past. See, earlier history helps us to find out the patterns, where we started, what we have, what are the things that have changed, and now what we have become, right? Earlier days everything was manual, now digital. So the history is evolving, the time is evolving, and the period is changing. So when you do an analysis of those, it will help you to identify the pattern. So which generation become tech savvy, which generation was print savvy, like that. You will be able to identify the sequence of timelines based on historical research, right? So when digital library came out, when the concept of digital library came out, so traditionally how libraries were functioning. So these are the historical questions you can explore into. So it gives social scientists a better context for making realistic decisions. So based on the development, based on the history of a particular field or a particular phenomena, you can develop a context for making realistic decisions. Okay, but the thing is, limitation is it's time consuming. Resources may be very hard to locate. That's true, because old resources, most of them are not digitized, and you may not find it online. You have to go back to that old or whichever organization or library is storing that. You have to go there. So time consuming. It's very hard. It may be conflicting and may not identify a cause of problem. Data restricted to what already exists. You may not get all the full details. So there are certain limitations. Even though it has certain strengths, there are some disadvantages also. So this is a simple example of historical research. Historical research on the development of nursing in Nepal. Historical research on the development of nursing education in Nepal. So historical research on the development of libraries in India. Library education in India in similar terms when we compare this with our field. So empirical research is using empirical evidence based on observation and experiments. Okay, it is a way of gaining knowledge based on observation and experience. Okay, so this is empirical research. So it consists of, it's a cyclic process. So first it involves both kind of reasoning in induction, deduction, testing, evaluation, observation. So it's a cyclic process. See, these are the examples of empirical research. It can be, as empirical study can be carried out to determine if listening to happy music involves methods of individuals. So you are observing if you are listening to happy music, if your mood improves or not. So this is, you are observing a certain phenomena to expect a certain outcome, right? That is empirical research. So your question is, if listening to happy music improves the mood of an individual, are you happy by are you, what do you say, are you happy, are you able to get positive mood based on listening happy music? It depends upon the it depends upon the mentality of the individual. So when you conduct the research, you will be able to answer these questions. So empirical research is nothing but a study which is conducted based on observations and experiences. Remember that is a concept of it. So broadly, all this research can be classified into two main categories. What are they? Qualitative and quantitative, right? So before, qualitative research is a research which deals with phenomena that are difficult to quantify. Quantify means you cannot express those phenomena in terms of a number, okay, or a digit. So such as, what are they which cannot be expressed as a number? Beliefs, meanings, attributes, symbols. So if you ask you a question, how happy you are, can you tell this? I am happy. Can you tell this in a number? Can you tell this answer in a scale of a number? So if you can you tell this in a scale of a number, though you can rate it your happiness scale to 1 to 10. When you ask a general question like this, what is your belief? What do you say? Whether you like to celebrate, when I ask Abhilash whether you like to celebrate Onam or not, can you answer this in a number? Can you quantify this in a number? It is not possible, because it is depending upon the belief of him. So he might be happy, he might not be happy. It is his opinion. So it is a belief, meanings, attributes are symbol, right? So we conducted, I think you have attended 2 or 3 of my webinars, right? Let it be Mendeley or style manuals or whatever it may be. After the webinar, they asked you a feedback question, right? Feedback question. So feedback about the workshop or webinar. So you are writing that that our webinar was good, the presentation was good, the presentation is not good. So like that, depending upon your what you got from the webinar, what you understood about the webinar, you are giving your feedback. That feedback, that belief, that perception of yours is qualitative. That cannot be quantified. Okay. This is the qualitative research. It helps to gather an in-depth understanding of human behavior and the reasons that govern such behavior. So when I get a feedback about the webinar from you, for example, after this class, if I get feedback whether this class was useful or not, so some may say it is useful, some may say it is not useful. So based on your feedback, your qualitative analysis data you given to me, I can improve based on that. That is how qualitative qualitative research works. Okay, it cannot be quantified in terms of number. So feedback you cannot write in a number, right? You have to express yourself. So that is what qualitative research is all about. It enables more complex aspects of a person's experience to be studied. Yeah, and in disadvantages, it is difficult to determine the validity and reliability of linguistics data. That is true. Okay. Data overload, open-end question can sometimes create lots of data which gets long time analysis. That is true. If you are 6 students in this class, right? If you are having more than 100 students, everyone is giving their feedback in terms of their own opinion. So one is writing a big paragraph. Okay. So it will take time for me to analyze. So that is one of the difficulties and drawbacks of qualitative data. Not everything can be quantified easily. Individuals can be studied more in depth. So qualitative data, qualitative research helps uh, to study the phenomena in depth actually. So feedback, when I give open-end questions, you can write it. So when I ask yes or no question or 1 or 2 question, you will just write the number only. Just yes or no, simple as that. So when I give free open end to express your opinion, you will tell all the drawbacks and all the advantages. See, the depth of the phenomena can be studied in detail. So that is the advantage of qualitative research. So this is an example. I gave you an example, right? Already I gave you an example. So this is another example of software company launching a new product. Before launching a product, what they do is they select a sample. They plan to launch product in, let us say, Chennai, Bangalore, Delhi, Calcutta, Mumbai. They are planning in 5 cities. So they are planning to launch a new product, a new software, so a software company in the software product in those 5 cities. So before directly launching into that, what they will do, they will go to each city and collect a sample of the people. Okay, sample of the people. Let us say 10 from each city, and observe, and they test the product. And they get their feedback. Okay, they get their feedback. Some people say it is very good. It will definitely work out in Chennai. It will not work out in Bangalore, depending upon the nature. So based on the feedback, they will work out again and finally launch the product. So this is one kind of qualitative research study. So now we are coming to quantitative. That is exactly the opposite of qualitative, which can be expressed in numbers. Whatever the phenomena is, it can be quantified. Simple example, your marks, right? Whatever you score in the 5 subjects, it can be quantified in terms of average, right? They will not, when you are saying your marks, you will say only the percentage, right? I got 90%. You won't say each and every mark, right? You won't say each and every mark of the subject. You will say I got 75%, I got 80%. It can be quantified. Your whole evaluation of 4 semester can be quantified into a single number, right? Percentage based on the 4 semester, they are quantifying it in terms of average. So that is your average marks of all the semester. That one measure can be used to assess your performance. Okay, so that can be quantified. It is an systematic empirical investigation via statistical and mathematical techniques. Okay, is to develop and employ mathematical models, theory, hypothesis pertaining to the phenomena. Okay. It allows the researcher to measure and analyze data. When the data is a number, it is easy to analyze. Okay, you can do various statistics on the data, various phenomena on the data based on mathematical modeling. Okay, the disadvantages: quantitative research of the study or experiment. Disadvantage of quantity in the context of the study or experiment is ignored. It does not study things in a natural setting. That is true. It does not study things in a natural setting. A large sample, a small sample will not give a accurate result. You need to, based on just if you are asking, what do you say? If you are asking how many students are visiting the library, you are collecting the data. There are 10,000 students, and you are collecting the data for only one department. You are selecting only one department, and you are saying only 10% of the students visit the library is wrong, right? Because the sample size is too small. When there is more than 100 departments, at least the sample size should be more than 30 or 40. Then only you can get at least at least the findings relevant to the population, right? You cannot just, with a small sample size, you cannot measure it. Okay, If 1% doesn't like this class, 5% is happy with this class, 1% does not like this class, means if I take only the 1%, I cannot conclude my findings that this person does not like this class. So I cannot say like that. So based on the sample size, if the sample size is very large, it will give you more accurate findings. It depends upon the sample size, quantitative. So example of quantitative research, anything you can take. So number of in simple, number of books on each department in the university library. So what you do, you get the data of each books which is available in the library. So chemistry department, it has 250 books, physics department 300 books. So depending upon the, like that you can analyze. So that is a quantitative research. So in library times we do bibliometrics, scientometrics, infometrics, webometrics and altmetrics. So these are quantitative research. The definition of bibliometrics is nothing but applying quantitative techniques to books and other media of communication. So we will see what is bibliometric in the later part of the topic. So bibliometric is one kind of quantitative research. So please remember that. Please bear that in your mind. So coming to the next aspect is disciplinary researchers. Okay. So disciplinary researchers, in the sense there are three important distinct terms: multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary. So what are they? According to Oxford Dictionary, multidisciplinary is combining or involving several disciplines or specializations in the approach to topic of a problem. So it combines discipline. It combines. There is a research problem. So it combines several disciplines. We have taken a research project. The university has taken as a research project. And everyone will work, every department will work in that project. So it combines several disciplines to solve a particular problem, to address a particular problem. Interdisciplinary is relating to more than one branch of knowledge. The same transdisciplinary is also relating to more than one branch of knowledge. So what is the difference exactly? So when you see all the three things are in the context, in the literary, you can see all the three things are stating the same meaning only, but there is difference. Both, all are not same actually. There is difference. So I will explain you what is the exact difference between these three terminologies. So multidisciplinary contracts disciplinary perspective in an additive manner. Little interaction across discipline. It involves little interaction. So for example, I told you about a university project, right? So university is taking a project, and everyone, the project is every department has to contribute. Okay. So what the university does, based on the project, based on the project, based on the project, every department has to contribute their part. Okay. Every department has to contribute their part. So that is multidisciplinary. I will tell this with a specific example in the later slide. Okay. So there will be no or little interaction between the discipline. So the project is there. I will do my part. You will do your part. Okay. For example, like in the last class, I gave you a good example regarding multidisciplinary. I told you to write. I will told you to write a research article. See, all the six students should combine and write a research article. So Abhilash writes introduction, Ritesh writes literature review, Sapnaji does data analysis, and Devashish does conclusion. Okay, so everyone is doing their part. There will be little or no interaction because you are doing only your part. Let us assume you are from different disciplines. Okay, so you are doing your part only. Okay, with little interaction or without interaction, depending upon the nature. Whereas interdisciplinary, it combines two or more disciplines to a new level of integration. The research problem addressed involves the methodological approach of more than one discipline. Okay. So statistical computer application in libraries. It involves the methods of both library field as well as computer field. So it integrates both. So they will be collaborating together. Instead of working alone, they will be collaborating together. That is the difference between interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. Whereas in the case of transdisciplinary, the outcome will be completely different from what one could expect from the addition of the part. It combines, what do you say? It takes knowledge from one discipline, another discipline, it compiles together. That is transdisciplinary. Okay. let me give you an, just don't forget, this is an important thing. The terms multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary are interchangeable but not related. I hope you understand the meaning. They cannot be used. They are interchangeable, but they are not interchangeable but are related. In not interchangeable means instead of multidisciplinary you can't use transdisciplinary. Instead of transdisciplinary you can't use interdisciplinary. They are different but they are related. That is the concept. Okay. So this is a good example of multidisciplinary. Multidisciplinary team is, I'm going to give you a specific example. Have you seen the web series Money Heist? Okay, it is a popular web series, Money Heist. If you are free, please watch it. Okay, Money Heist. Okay, yes, very good, Abhilash. Money Heist. See what the professor does is, what the actor does is, the actor is called as professor. Does is he forms a team. Okay, he is planning to steal money. He is planning to steal money from a royal mint. Okay, Royal Mint of Spain. Okay, what he does is he forms a team with certain expertise. So he forms a team of 10 members with certain expertise. Everyone is expert in their own area. Okay, one is an expert in computer programming, so he will be useful for hacking the cameras and everything. So one is an expert in machinery, he is in army, so what he does, he will safeguard the entry. And so one is drilling, one is expert in drilling, so he will drill a tunnel to get into the vault. So depending upon their expertise, he forms a team. See, the final objective is they are going to steal the money, but everyone is specialized in only one area and they are combining together to finish a single job. So that kind of project is called as multidisciplinary. Okay. Similarly, there are certain projects which requires multidisciplinary approach. So everyone will do their part. Like as I told you in the article example, you will do only your part mostly. Introduction only. You will do literature review only. In the case, that is multidisciplinary approach. So interdisciplinary teams are different from multidisciplinary. How? On these teams, individuals from different fields are expected to contribute ideas to the entire project, not just a part. Remember that, it's not just a part. They will just contribute. They will just integrate both the discipline. In case they could form a new discipline also. New discipline may also emerge, and the same research topic may require more than one methodological approach. So this is the difference between interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. So transdisciplinary is conducted by investigators from different disciplines to create a new methodological or transnational innovations that integrate and move beyond discipline-specific approaches and address a common problem. Okay. So this is transdisciplinary. For example, how can you say? Overcoming the population, right? So how to control the population? You require a transdisciplinary approach, right? So because it should take concepts from economics, it should take concepts from geography, it should take concepts from so it takes topics from almost all the field, okay, to solve a particular problem. So these are the references that are used to prepare this particular presentation. So this is all about the types of research in a nutshell. So thank you.